let's talk about the other half of this climate conversation, because a lot of people are getting in on the stupidity of science denial. Um, to the point where they're getting embarrassed by the Weather Channel. So, and actually, I want to show a couple of images on your screen. So, Breitbart.com ran an article describing basically doing what Breitbart does, basically saying that there's a trend of cooling happening, and that the scientists are icily silent, or some kind of weak pun. And actually, let me show it on your screen. Here's a tweet that was included in this conversation. And this is from the Science, Space, and Technology Committee from the House of Representatives. They shared an article from Breitbart News saying global temperatures plunge, icy silence from climate alarmists, right? Because, all the scientists are doing are just trying to alarm people. They're just trying to scare you. So in this article, Breitbart actually referenced a scientist who works for the Weather Channel. She gives the weather, but she's also apparently she's a scientist. And so actually, I'm going to let her speak in her own words and give you her response to the idiocy of Breitbart. Let's take a listen in.
So last week, Breitbart.com published an article claiming that global warming was nothing but a scare and global temperatures were actually falling. Problem is, they used a completely unrelated video about La Nina with my face in it to attempt to back their point. Now, what's worse is that the U.S. Committee on Space, Science, and Technology actually tweeted it out. Here's the thing. Science doesn't care about your opinion. Cherry picking and twisting the facts will not change the future, nor the fact, note fact, not opinion, that the Earth is warming. So let's break it down. Their first claim is that global land temperatures have plummeted by 1 degree Celsius since the middle of this year, the biggest and steepest fall on record. Now, that was based on one satellite estimate of global land temperatures, not a consensus. And second of all, land temperatures aren't an appropriate measure. The Earth is 70% water, and water is where we store most of our heat energy. So when you look at sea surface temperatures and you combine that with land temperatures, you actually get a record high for November of 2016. Their second claim, it can be argued that without El Nino, 2014 to 2016 would not have been record warm years. Now, you're taking a look at the Arctic sea ice melting here in this video from NASA. When you actually normalize the data, aka take out the El Nino spike in temperatures, 2015 and 2016 still come in as the warmest years on record. So that brings me to claim number 3. Many think that 2017 will be cooler than previous years. Now, it is typical, yes, for temperatures to drop in a post-El Nino environment, but certainly not to record lows. If that claim was correct, we would have had global record lows all over the last century. We haven't seen that since 1911. The last time we fell below the 20th century average was in 1976, and guess what? That was directly following the 1974-1975 strong El Nino. So next time you're thinking about publishing a cherry-picked article, try consulting a scientist first. And to all my fellow scientists out there, let's make the facts louder than the opinions.
Well, shit, dog. Kait Parker, where's my applause track? Kait Parker came with it. I mean, okay, so it's kind of a performance art thing, you have to show passion with these idiots. So hats off to Kait for coming with the facts and delivering it in a way that's kind of just like a little bitch slap to Breitbart and to this committee from the House of Representatives, right? We have morons leading us. We have the Know Nothing Party leading us. We have the flat earthers of our generation leading us. And that puts us in a position where we have to, we not only have to sound the alarm with science, we have to sound the alarm with proverbial bitch slaps on a regular basis. And so the Weather Channel wasn't quite done with them. This is part 2 of the Weather Channel's clapping, cucking of Breitbart. It's on your screen. It's a tweet from the Weather Channel. Note to Breitbart, the Earth is not cooling. Climate change is real. And stop using our video to mislead Americans. You know you're doing bad. You know you're doing bad when the Weather Channel slams you like that. Now, unfortunately, all of that is really just performance, and hopefully enough people actually hear them to actually sway some opinions in a significant way. Otherwise, Breitbart's tactic and technique is effective. That's the sad reality, because all Breitbart has to do is the same thing that Republicans continuously do, and that is just muddy the waters and, make it a wash. It's the same thing we saw Democrats do with Hillary Clinton and with Bernie Sanders. And with regard to race, you just throw in enough smears, throw in enough confusion, and it's a wash. Well, extrapolate that out from just a primary to focusing on the climate and the future of our planet, and you have an entire party and an entire media infrastructure that is willing to muddy the waters enough with, I don't think it's something confusing, but for people who may not pay attention on a regular basis, this could just confuse them enough to be apathetic, to be agnostic on climate change. So while I give my hat tip to the Weather Channel and to Kait Parker for coming with it, unfortunately, this technique by Breitbart is just enough to delay any significant progress, any meaningful progress whatsoever. And this is what we're fighting against every single day. It's the muddying of the waters to make people apathetic enough to say, and then have to wait until a disaster actually happens before we do something. But I guess because there's snow on the ground in Boston, but anyway.